What up, Hope and Skits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. I am so excited!
Cool. What's happening?
I'm so stoked.
Why?
Okay, so this was posted literally 2 months ago.
Okay.
It's called The Craziest War Nobody Talks About, the Taiping Rebellion. And it's a Sam O'Nella parody.
Oh, why did you do that? Why did you say it like that? You should have said parody of Sam O'Nella. Not Sam O'Nella exclusive.
I didn't even pause.
Sam O'Nella party. You know? Fuck.
I've been waiting to watch this with you.
Why? It's a parody.
We all love and miss Sam O'Nella.
Rest in peace, guy.
I think it's time to admit that he is never coming back.
Oh, yeah, he's done.
He's out. Him and Sorrow TV who are the Soot House.
Soot House, gone.
Rest in peace, bro. Yeah. They're done. They're out.
They're ghosts of another age.
They were incredible, inspiring, and
sexy. Sex symbols of the YouTube world. I'm too sexy for my Sam. Too sexy for my Soot. Too sexy for my Sorrow TV.
So anyway, so I'm really excited to watch this. I just, more for the nostalgia aspect, you know what I mean? And I hope it's good. I actually haven't heard anything about it. So, Anti-Hoozins, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe and sanitized. And I don't have anything else to say. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, all right.
Hey kids, today we're going to be talking about the Taiping Rebellion. Now, you've probably heard of this in your middle school days while watching lists of deadliest conflicts in human history at 3 a.m. while playing a good old game of 5-on-1 with your friends, but probably knew nothing else about it. And boy, if you thought your first internet relationship was a clusterfuck, then have I got the show for you. This conflict is just so friggin' loony that even I have to put the disclaimer that this is oversimplified, so go read up on it if you can. So the story begins with a poor man named Hong Xishuan, who lived in a poor village in South China during the Qing dynasty. He was a Hakka, an ethnic group mostly consisting of poor laborers, and the empire at the time was run by the Manchus, another ethnic minority. And naturally, there were some real tensions between the two. Now, China was kind of in bad times, being smack in the middle of the century of humiliation, as they now call it, with the population nearly doubling in less than a century, big famines, natural disasters, defeats by foreign powers, high taxes, massive rent, opium everywhere, corrupt government, you know, small stuff like that. But luckily for Hong, he was from a wealthier family, so he got to go to school to prepare for the imperial examinations, which are a nearly impossible set of tests needed to become a Chinese official. Yeah. Now, poor Hong tried taking the exams 4 times. That's right, 4 times, failing every time. Now, like most college students just begging for life to throw them a bone or just end them, he didn't take his failures very well. So in 1837, he just broke down and got sick for a few days. During his illness, he started having these literal fever dreams and crazy visions. Hey, you doing all right?
I am the second son of God!
Alright, cool. Apparently, in his visions, Hong saw a divine father, who he thought must be God, and a heavenly brother of his who he thought must be Jesus himself. So he takes his newfound revelation to the local missionary, Issachar Jaco Robert, to learn all he can about Christianity, having only found out about it from a pamphlet years earlier.
Oh,
and it went like, "So kids, in Mark chapter 19, Jesus, my big brother?" Sure. But anyways, he said that when someone wrongs you, you kill all the Manchus. The guy then straight up refuses to baptize him, and Hong has to go home. Now, I'm sure by now all of you are wondering just what's next for Hong. But luckily, Hong did what any rational person would do at that point. He gathers a bunch of Hakkas like himself, starts up a cult calling them the God-worshipping Society, then fucking takes over the region of Guangxi, seizing all private property and establishing a proto-communist state, calling it the, get this, Taiping Heavenly Kingdom. Wow, he is just so relatable. I hope I can be just like him one day. Yeah, me too. Slay King. Now the Taiping...
All right.
it was going so well.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why did you take me out of this?
Yeah.
I was like so in it. I
Yeah.
was so like invested.
Yeah, I know. We're just keep it going. Have you ever heard of this rebellion, first of all?
No.
There's some people who talk about a couple of fights in Dynasty Warriors, kind of like alluding to this because they have the Yellow Turban Rebellion, which is like a group of, you know, like extremists or whatever, and the guy just pretends to be like a god. But then some of their like colors and like actions seem kind of Christianity if you brought it to another country that had like Buddhist beliefs and
Right.
you know, similar like ideas.
Right.
You know. So, anyways, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. But yeah, this is a very interesting
Rebellion, complete with modern firearms and even imported American pistols for themselves.
Shit. Okay.
Another thing that separated them from armies at the time was that they had a large sector of female soldiers led by Hong's own sister, Xuan Zhao. And no, they weren't hot, you horny little fuck. So in 1853, the Taiping forces split into three, with one staying to defend their stronghold, one going west, and one going north to take out Beijing and the emperor himself. The northern exposition was a total disaster, but the western campaign was much more successful. By enlisting the help of the Chinese river pirates and the fucking triads, they were able to take much of southern China at the time. So by now, I'm sure you're all wondering, just what was life like under the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom? And boy, did it live up to its name. Naturally, Hong was all about societal reform, so a lot of new rules were implemented. Some were typical commie stuff like abolishing land ownership, a collective public fund, outlawing social classes, starving the people, burning all their enemies to death. They also had some laws based off of Hong's own personal mistranslation of the Bible, like the strict separation of sexes. Now, while women were equal in Taiping society, the two sexes couldn't live together, and even married couples were prohibited from having sex. No sex? Yeah, what the fuck is this authoritarian bullshit? Yeah, I'm out. Unstand. Now you're probably wondering how a society like this could survive more than a generation, but luckily for us, they didn't even last a tenth of that. Now the leadership of the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom consisted of Hong, his brother Zhao, who was apparently a mouthpiece for Jesus Christ, and his commander Yang, who could apparently speak as God himself. But anyways, things quickly fell apart when one day Yang was like, I'm having one of those God moments. What is he saying? What is he saying? He's saying that I should be the new emperor. And that all those pretty ladies over there need to be relocated to the palace bedroom immediately. Dude, that's my sister. Don't backtalk your father like that. So after that, Yang tried to organize a coup to overthrow Hong, and Hong subsequently had him and all his followers executed. Some say that Xuan Zhao was also part of the coup. But hey, I guess we all have a few skeletons in our closets. In the meanwhile, the Qing dynasty slowly got its footing and, with the help of local militas, began to retake southern China. The dynasty then got its big break by, ironically enough, its own western enemies, France and Britain, who lent them army leaders like Commander Frederick Townsend Ward and Major General Charles Gordon, who led the Chinese troops on the offense. All the while, Han began to become more and more isolated, probably distracted by his husbands and concubines. And at last, the Qings finally cornered Hong in the Taiping capital of Nanjing and laid a big and slaughtering siege. Eventually, in 1864, they got in, only to find that Hong is already dead from, get this, eating wild vegetables outside the city, which he apparently thought was manna. Now, it goes without saying, but if I were to die as a revolutionary in a giant siege, I'd want it to be from 1,000 spears, all piercing me at once, as the last of my men safeguarding my throne with a sharpened spoon, not from fucking unwashed lettuce. The Qings then blasted his remains out of a cannon to ensure that he would never have a resting place. And that, kids, marked the end of the Taiping Rebellion. Pirates, triads, women warriors, and communism? What in the Kentucky Fried Fuck is this shit? Oh, Sonny. I haven't even gotten to the part where me and the boys ran to Taiwan to take it from the Japanese. Are you just off your meds or a fucking lunatic? Maybe both, actually. At the end of the day, a whopping 20 million people died. Partly because the Geneva Convention of the day was genocide, and partly due to the fact that all the city raising led to even more disease and famine for the Chinese citizens. Now, I'm sure most of you guys watching are like, really? Just really? He turned one of the most tragic and downright disgusting abominations of a war in human history into a comedic education video? Yes, I did. I'm Samuel Drella, and...
All right. I mean, appropriate parody. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it proves that comedy is hard. Because Sam Manila's videos hit. Every single one of them hit. even when he goes dangerously close and then crosses the line,
Yeah.
people go, it's still so funny, I do not care.
Right.
But on the flip side, his comedy, because it's so hard, bred a part of his community that like got him, but then didn't get him at the same time.
Right.
His edginess and his views on society didn't translate that well. And I see that with a lot of parodies that I watch, where like they get how the history part should be the driving force, but then when they start tying in their own opinions, they kind of miss the mark, and they don't cut enough.
No.
Salmonella cuts a ton, and that's because every joke he wants to hit. And you guys just need to make these parodies, still believe what you believe, do what you want, but cut these jokes, man.
Make them more clean.
Clean them up.
Salmonella jokes are just clean as fuck.
So clean.
You know?
Yeah, dude. And even if you disagree with his political stance or wherever that part might be intertwined, it's not the point.
Yeah.
And you need to make sure that you focus the video on
the history.
Absolutely.
You're focused on what the topic is. I feel like it was a decent parody.
Yeah.
You know, it was not a parody like Scary Movie is a parody, right?
Right.
It was kind of a parody of in the same ways that what was that parody of Twilight that they made?
Right, yeah.
It was like that. That's the kind of parody it was. So it was like enjoyable to watch because, you know, it's poking fun at something. And like I said at the beginning of the video, we all miss Salmonella.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all miss his content.
Yeah.
We miss his wit. You know, we miss the education with the jokes and stuff. We all miss that.
And the painfully underdeveloped art style.
You know? So we definitely do all miss that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was kind of like, you know, Salmonella's here, and you're like here, you're getting there, you're moving in the right direction.
I mean, I wouldn't try to, you know, I don't know. I just think that, I mean, you know, it's not going to be Salmonella when he makes it. Putting him in the closet though, top tier.
That joke made up for the entire rest of the video. I feel like
covering the way he covered the rebellion too was in a way that I believe every single fact in it.
Yes.
And that is like essential. And I think everybody wanted to do this. Focus on that portion of it for sure.
Yeah.
Acknowledging that it's a Salmonella knockoff. Great. So now we can all watch it and not judge you based on what he's doing. And then presenting facts that we all are like, that's insanity. And we believe it.
Exactly.
Great. I trust every part of it. I feel no need to look up and fact check the specific numbers, even though I'm still going to do that anyways.
I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10.
I give it a 6 out of 10 because the audio quality, unfortunately, did actually make it pretty hard.
The audio quality was unfortunate.
And as you can see from the success of the video, quality does not equal quality, right? Made a great video without the best equipment, but gotta be able to hear you if it's just commentary.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, Ho Biscuits. It's Skittenlit.
Or don't, and we'll judge you.